Xiao Yan endures near-death pain to forcefully evolve the burning spell-fused two monarch flames and attempt a forbidden power technique that nearly destroys him. Wu! Enduring the immense pain in his body, Xiao Yan's eyes turned red. Sweat soaked his clothes, and his throat kept letting out deep growls like that of a beast. His entire body trembled violently. Xiao Yan felt the qi in his body suddenly increase. A trace of joy flashed across his red eyes. In his body, an origin chains had steadily penetrated through all the meridians in his body, making a rustling sound. Burning spell, just what is this thing? Feeling Xiao Yan's qi soaring like a rocket, Yi Tianchen took a deep breath and said with slight shock. After so many days, he carefully recalled for a long time, but he still had no clue about the burning spell. It was as if this thing did not belong to this world. Could it be even more ancient than the 8 powers? Yi Tianchen shook his head and did not speak any more. The 8 powers could be said to be the most ancient thing, and it was also the time when the great world was born. If they went any further, it would not be something that could be discussed by the Supreme Saint. Boom! In a short period of time, an aura that was even sharper than before erupted from Xiao Yan's body. At the same time, the soft sound of the chains also came from his body. 7. Imperial Warriors. These 4 words burst out from the gaps between Xiao Yan's teeth. Although his face was in so much pain that it changed shape, Yi Tianchen could easily feel the excitement on his face. Looking at Xiao Yan's trembling body, sweat drenched the grass below him. His fists crazily pounded on the ground to divert his attention. In just a short while, the hard ground was actually hit by numerous fist marks. Yi Tianchen's heart also had a trace of shock at this moment. Xiao Yan's badly mutilated fists and ferocious face caused his expression to gradually become serious. For the sake of strength, I can really endure all kinds of pain. Ha, this little guy is quite similar to me in the past. Yi Tianchen lightly smiled. The hands behind his back slowly clenched into fists. Unparalleled pain crazily consumed Xiao Yan's nerves. At this moment in Xiao Yan's body, golden flames mixed with tiny lightning continuously pierced into the former's limbs, bones, meridians, and muscles. Under the crazy piercing of the flames, Xiao Yan's body was in a mess. Blood mist filled the air and countless meridians were almost broken. His bones were also trembling as he supported himself like a defeated battlefield. Bang, bang, bang. Xiao Yan's fists kept hitting the ground. His fists were badly mutilated. His white bones were exposed, stained with blood. Even so, Xiao Yan acted as if he did not hear it. The pain in his body and nerves almost drove him crazy. The small wound on his hand was not worth mentioning. Boom. After waiting for a few minutes, Xiao Yan once again heard this heavenly sound. As the 8th origin chains penetrated all of his meridians, a powerful aura erupted. It's still rising. Yi Tianchen could feel Xiao Yan's qi and did not stop at all. He also exclaimed, "The rapid increase in strength brought by the combination of the Chaos Great Monarch Flame and the 3000. Lightning Monarch Flame would not cause any harm to his future cultivation." It was also because of this that Yi Tianchen did not stop him. As Xiao Yan's qi soared, the black gold force on his tattered clothes started shining crazily. The words were getting more and more condensed. After another explosion, Xiao Yan's aura finally slowed down and finally stopped at the peak of the 9 sovereigns, only a step away from becoming a sovereign. Within Xiao Yan's body, the 9 thick and solid origin chains whistled as they passed through his meridians. Upon closer inspection, one could see that the 9 origin chains were already showing signs of merging into one. When the 9 origin chains merged into a new origin chains, it would be the time for Xiao Yan to become a sovereign master. The flames gradually calmed down from its violent state and shot out a faint scarlet golden light. It slowly spread within Xiao Yan's body and warmed up his severely injured bones and meridians. Xiao Yan's tightly knitted brows gradually relaxed when he felt the waves of soothing sensation coming from his body. The scarlet-red color in his eyes also slowly disappeared. He slightly raised his arm and wiped the sweat on his face. A layer of smile quickly surged onto Xiaoyan's pale face. Finally, the peak of the Dai class. When he first entered the illusionary realm, he only had 3 Dai class. Now, in a short period of a year, he had soared to the peak of the Dai class. Although there was a large reason for this, which was because he had absorbed the energy of the monarch flame. Xiaoyan was extremely satisfied. After the Chaos Great Monarch Flame had successfully devoured the 3,000 lightning monarch flames, his strength had soared once again. Compared to the pain he had suffered earlier, it was worth it. When Yi Tianqian saw this, he also sighed softly. Although a peak sovereign was still inferior to an ant in his eyes, the speed at which he was advancing made him click his tongue. This kind of monstrous genius could even be ranked among the top geniuses he had seen in his life. I wonder if the burning spell has evolved. Xiaoyan, who was about to take a rest, suddenly had a change in his expression. He endured the tremendous pain in his body and immersed his mind into his body. He was filled with anticipation as he felt the changes in the burning spell. When he felt the intense heat contained within the burning spell, he immediately burst into laughter. After that, a wave of dizziness passed through his eyes, and he was forced to withdraw his mind. Xiaoyan couldn't help but faint from the pain. Early Emperor rank. While unconscious, Xiaoyan weakly mumbled. A smile unconsciously appeared on his face. Yi Tianqian let out a soft sigh. With a wave of his sleeve, both of them disappeared. When Xiaoyan regained his consciousness, the tearing pain in his body had become extremely fuzzy. More than half of his injuries had recovered, and the wounds on his skin had recovered to their original state. Xiaoyan understood that this must be the credit of Yi Tianqian. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to recover to such an extent by himself. He looked around and found himself in the middle of the square. Without seeing Yi Tianqian's figure, Xiaoyan's mind moved slightly. The crimson gold flame appeared in front of Xiaoyan, after which the Xiao suddenly jumped out from within. His intelligent eyes looked at the scarlet golden flame. His eyes were filled with excitement. The Xiao had also obtained quite a number of benefits by borrowing Xiaoyan's soaring strength. He could vaguely feel that he had broken through to the 8th Sovereign Master realm. It's all thanks to you this time. Xiaoyan intimately touched the Xiao's big head and softly said, if it wasn't for the former making a move at a critical moment. He was afraid that the outcome wouldn't have been so good. The Xiao used its big head to gently nudge Xiaoyan's body, letting out a series of cheerful sounds. Xiaoyan withdrew his gaze and looked at the scarlet golden flame in front of him. In the past, after absorbing the heavenly flame in Fighting Qi continent, the heavenly flame did not merge with the heavenly flame from before. However, this was the first time Xiaoyan had encountered such a situation, and he did not know what to do for a moment. After thinking for a moment, Xiaoyan slowly extended his hand into the crimson gold flame. In the next moment, the scarlet red and the golden color in the flame gradually separated. Not long after that, 2 kinds of Chaos Great Monarch flames, the Chaos Great Monarch Flame and the 3,000 Lightning Monarch Flame, appeared in front of Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan's breathing became hurried, and he almost couldn't conceal the wild joy in his heart. The 2 types of Xiaoyans couldn't help but fuse into one. They could also be separated by themselves. After being wild with joy for a while, a strange light suddenly surged into Xiaoyan's eyes. He let out a light breath and held the 2 flames with both hands. After looking at them for a while, his eyes suddenly focused. As if he had made up his mind, Xiaoyan held the 2 types of Xiaoyans in his hands and slowly drew his hands together. Buddha Fury Fire Lotus. This was Xiaoyan's goal. In the Fighting Qi continent, Buddha Fury Fire Lotuses were Xiaoyan's trump card for all eternity. This was because the extreme power of the heavenly flame was extremely powerful. It was extremely common for Xiaoyan, who used Xiaoyans to kill someone who was a level higher than him. Now in the great world, it was unknown how powerful the enhanced monarch flames that were used with stronger Buddha Fury Fire Lotuses would be. Currently, Xiaoyan only had 2 kinds of monarch arts, the monarch skill. Even if he was much stronger than those who were at the same level as him, he would still be forced to retreat if he encountered an expert. Therefore, Xiaoyan urgently needed a powerful trump card, the Buddha Fury Fire Lotus. Without a doubt, it was the best choice. Under Xiaoyan's control, the two flames slowly drew closer to each other. A hot and fierce qi suddenly filled the entire world. The air was filled with a force that could move one's soul. He could feel this extremely powerful force. Xiaoyan's heart trembled violently. He had such a powerful force even before it had fully formed. If it succeeded, even an expert at Zhao Qingshan's level wouldn't be able to bear it. Qi. The two flames became more and more violent, and the fire rolled. However, it was difficult to merge them even after an inch. A layer of sweat appeared on Xiaoyan's forehead, and all the soul energy between his eyebrows surged out. He carefully wrapped the two flames, and with this he reached a slight balance point. At this moment, the boundless soul of a sovereign realm expert in the fighting Qi continent seemed to be stretched out. He could not control the two flames in detail. He could not feel the so-called balance even after a long time. Xiaoyan's attention was highly focused. Sweat fell into his eyes, but Xiaoyan didn't dare to blink. He focused all of his attention on controlling the two violent flames. Qi. Another buzzing sound was heard. The two flames finally collided. A violent and fierce power soared into the sky as if it was tearing the sky apart. The space where the flames were was slightly distorted because of this huge power. Xiaoyan was just about to heave a sigh of relief when suddenly a chaotic and violent qi was emitted from the flames. Xiaoyan's facial expression changed instantly, and his soul power surged up like a tidal wave. He only managed to hold on for a split second, and the energy produced by the fusion of the two flames suddenly exploded. Xiaoyan, who was at the center of the explosion, instantly turned pale. The enormous origin monarch qi in his body had been absorbed, and he didn't even have the strength to dodge. Stop. Just as the violent impact was about to reach Xiaoyan, a faint voice suddenly sounded from the void. The moment the voice faded, the massive energy impact stopped, and then it vanished. Little guy, you are too reckless. How can the soul of your lower realm control the holy object of a great world? Before Xiaoyan could express his gratitude, the void not far away distorted. Ye Tianchen walked out from the void and looked at Xiaoyan, who was in a sorry state. He couldn't help but curse. Xiaoyan smiled bitterly. He said in a respectful tone, "Thank you, Elder Yi, for saving my life." Yi Tianchen arrived in front of Xiaoyan in a few steps and said unhappily, "No need to thank me, as long as you don't destroy my illusion realm." Xiaoyan smiled awkwardly and shut his mouth. Yi Tianchen glanced at Xiaoyan and said, "You want to risk your life again because you have almost recovered." Without waiting for Xiaoyan to speak, Yi Tianchen changed his tone and said, "Your soul power is far from enough to control the integration of the two kinds of monarch flames, but you must rely on them in future battles, so you must succeed in this three-step soul transfer." Xiaoyan's heart trembled. He raised his head and faced Yi Tianchen's gaze, then he nodded with a solemn expression. Ever since Xiaoyan had advanced to the peak of the sovereign realm, Yi Tianchen had given up on the idea of continuing his cultivation. When he left, he threw a soul scroll to Xiaoyan and disappeared without a word. When Xiaoyan finished reading the contents of the scroll, an indescribable joy quickly surged onto his face. There were only a few words on the scroll. After the soul is formed, the cauldron will be opened to refine pills. Within a month, he would familiarize himself with the sudden increase in strength and pick. 30 sets of medicinal ingredients to refine the resurrection pill. After a few short lines of words, a soul-light diagram formed from a vast and mighty soul was formed. When Xiaoyan's soul entered it for the first time, it was as though he was facing an endless ocean. That kind of feeling was almost suffocating. After gradually familiarizing himself with this soul pressure, Xiaoyan carefully looked at the densely packed soul-light clusters within. Within the light clusters were all kinds of medicinal ingredients. There was a variety of different kinds and a variety of dazzling items. It was simply comparable to a medicinal ingredient ancient book. Compared to this, the thing that Zhao Qingshan gave him was at most a child's toy. For a moment after receiving so many medicinal ingredients, Xiaoyan also felt dizzy in his soul. After looking at it for a while, he felt dizzy and extremely tired in his soul. Looking at the four main medicinal ingredients to refine the returning clarity pill, ink leaf spirit grass, white pearl lotus, 3 leaves profound flower fresh leaf fruit, Xiaoyan was instantly speechless. To find the introduction and image of these 4 herbs in the countless light clusters was no different from finding a needle in a haystack. This also meant that he needed to look through all of these light clusters before he could find them. This was probably Yi Tianquan's goal. Xiaoyan only took a rough glance at these light clusters. There were at least 200,000 of them. Each light cluster contained a detailed introduction and image of a medicinal ingredient. It could be said that it was extremely harsh to look through all of these medicinal ingredients in a month's time. Even so, Xiaoyan was still unusually happy. This one was more comprehensive than what Zhao Qingshan had given him. The detailed introduction of the herb was very attractive to alchemists. Putting aside everything else, just the strength of Yi Tianquan, the supreme saint. When he was still alive, he had to visit a vast place, and he had seen more precious herbs than any ordinary alchemist. There were even some rare and unique herbs that were only a little bit of them. It's precious enough. In the following period of time, Xiaoyan finally relaxed. He no longer spent any effort on improving his strength. Instead, he placed all of his attention on the hundreds of thousands of medicinal ingredients. Compared to the medicinal ingredients in the fighting Qi continent, the medicinal ingredients in the Great World had an additional type of dense spiritual Qi, compared to the medicinal ingredients that Xiaoyan had randomly refined. These medicinal ingredients that were used to refine true medicine pills were much more agile. Sitting quietly on top of a green rock, Xiaoyan's eyes were tightly shut, and his mind was immersed in the scroll that was floating in front of him. Soul energy flowed out from between his eyebrows, forming a faint dark cloud. The dark cloud continuously entered the scroll, continuously devouring tens of thousands of soul-light spheres. With Xiaoyan's rich experience in alchemy in fighting Qi continent, he was very familiar with some of the herbs. Therefore, he didn't feel much pressure memorizing the herbs in the soul-light spheres. His soul entered the dense soul light ball. In just an instant, all the information of the herbs contained in the soul light ball was deeply imprinted in Xiaoyan's mind and the depths of his soul. Although this method was fast, it consumed a lot of mental and soul energy. Yi Tianquan's soul was something that Xiaoyan couldn't catch up to, even if he were to butter him up. Even if it was just a wisp of soul light, it would still be impossible for him to catch up with Yi Tianquan's soul. When Xiaoyan's tiny soul power first entered it, it was as if he had crashed into a huge rock, causing his chest to feel stuffy. His head was buzzing as if it was going to explode. It took him a long time to recover from his drowsy state. Xiaoyan felt a splitting headache and his soul felt like it was being torn apart. He let out a light breath and rested for a while. Then he carefully controlled his soul to enter the soul light ball again. Time passed quickly. 20 days had quietly passed in a flash. When Xiaoyan, who had been meditating like an old monk for 20 days, suddenly opened his eyes at a certain moment, a joy surged onto the former's face. There are a total of 347,269 medicinal ingredients. Amongst them, there are around 100,000 of them, growing on Precipice Cliff, where no one lives. There are no more than 4,000 types of medicinal ingredients that are commonly used to refine medicine pills. The result of these 20 days was roughly summarized from the bottom of his heart. Xiaoyan stretched his body. Immediately, several dried leaves drifted down from his body. After stretching his meridians, which he hadn't moved for a long time, Xiaoyan slowly got up. After these 20 days of impacting the soul-light clusters, a stronger soul energy surged out from between his eyebrows. Xiaoyan also smiled excitedly when he sensed the obvious strength of the soul force. Although Yi Tianquan's soul force was extremely powerful, it had an unexpected effect on tempering one's soul. After memorizing over 300,000 medicinal ingredients, Xiaoyan gently waved his hand and the soul scroll in front of him quietly shattered. It turned into soul spots and dissipated into the world. Xiaoyan smiled slightly as he watched the scroll disappear. Since he had memorized all of the medicinal ingredients, it was time to do his best to search for the medicinal ingredients in the remaining time. White pearl lotus. It is white in shape and has 3 flower petals. There is a white pearl within the flower petals, and it is filled with a dark and cold feeling. Xiaoyan stood at the top of a mountain and looked at the boundless forest below. After pondering for a while, he whispered the characteristics of the white pearl lotus. At the same time, a white 3-petal white lotus slowly appeared in his mind. The medicinal ingredients in the soul light ball were sorted out after Yi Tianqian's death. According to his previous experience, he completed the characteristics and images of these medicinal ingredients one by one. This was also the reason why Xiaoyan could quickly remember them. Otherwise, just a large piece of text that was as vast as smoke might not even be remembered in 200 days, let alone 20 days. With the help of the images and rich alchemist experience in his mind, Xiaoyan quickly found a slender and graceful white pearl lotus in the dark of a stream. Although it had been washed by the stream for an unknown period of time, the white petals on it were still as clean as new. It could be said that it had not been stained by the mud and was clear and not demonic. With a delighted mood, Xiaoyan carefully picked up the white pearl lotus. Looking at the medicinal herbs in his hand, Xiaoyan's heart suddenly jumped violently. His throat moved and Xiaoyan took a deep breath. He knew that if the soul transformation was successful, then this white pearl lotus might be the first herb he had refined in the great world. Following the same method, he found a few other medicinal ingredients. When he finished plucking the 30 medicinal ingredients needed to refine the return clarity pill, a month's time quietly passed. On the plaza paved with limestone, there were lofty mountains in the distance. The dense forest was like an endless sea of green. Waves of wind swept over, bringing along layers of green waves that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Yi Tianqian's gaze swept across the 30 complete sets of medicinal herbs on the ground. He smiled lightly and did not say anything. His gaze turned to Xiaoyan and his expression suddenly became serious as he said, "Little fellow, I don't want to say the importance and danger of soul transformation again. These medicinal herbs, whether you throw them away as trash or keep the ingredients to refine medicine pills, it all depends on you." Yi Tianqian mused for a moment when he saw Xiaoyan nod with a grave expression. He appeared to be considering his words. A moment later, he slowly opened his mouth and spoke. Soul transformation is divided into 3 steps. The first step is to release all the souls within your body and allow the person who transformed your soul to devour them. What? Xiaoyan couldn't help but be shocked when he heard this. He couldn't help but shout out loud and release all the souls. Wasn't there only an empty shell left? Without a soul, there would be no intelligence and consciousness. If that was the case, what was the difference between him and a dead person? When Yi Tianqian heard Xiaoyan's exclamation, he rolled his eyes and said, "I still want to devour your soul. Although this process isn't very dangerous, it requires a lot of effort. I'm afraid that the old injuries that I've healed for 10,000 years will relapse this time. I'm not surprised why you are so surprised." Xiaoyan smiled awkwardly when he heard this. However, the shock on his face did not disappear. Yi Tianqian seemed to have seen through Xiaoyan's surprise. He paused for a moment and said, "At that time, you will be the receiver. You will need to release all of your soul and completely sever the connection between you and your soul. After that, I, the transformer, will merge the soul you released into my own soul. Use the power of the soul of the great world to assimilate your soul." Clearing his throat, Yi Tianqian continued, "When the assimilation is almost complete, fuse the thickest part of your soul origin and my soul into a new soul body that possesses half of the soul of the great world. After that, I will use the powerful origin monarch chi to repeatedly condense and compress it. When the new soul body is condensed into a soul origin, the first step will be completed." After saying a large piece, Yi Tianqian let out a soft sigh. He looked at Xiaoyan, who was deep in thought, and did not say anything. He just sat cross-legged quietly waiting for Xiaoyan to comprehend it himself. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the confused look on Xiaoyan's face finally disappeared. His pupils became focused again. He looked at Yi Tianchen, who was looking at him with a smile. Xiaoyan grinned and nodded. Elder Yi, this kid understands. During that period of time, Xiaoyan had been thinking about a problem, which was the ownership of the new soul body. As a new ownerless soul body, Xiaoyan was most worried about how to make his memories and other things intact. After some quiet pondering, Xiaoyan finally figured it out. There were all kinds of living things in the world. The biggest reason for this difference was that the soul origin was different. It could be said that the soul origin was intelligent. The source of one's thoughts, the soul origin of every person, was unique. Therefore, even if his soul was assimilated by Elder Yi's soul, the soul origin was still his soul origin's master. With this, the problem that Xiaoyan was most worried about was solved. Yi Tianchen nodded slightly. He organized his thoughts and said, "This second step. It should not be difficult for you. After forming a new soul body into a soul origin, you need to place it in the realm of origin monarch chi density. After the refinement and fusion of the origin monarch chi 10 days later, only then will you be able to place it between your eyebrows. The difficulty of this second step was that your body would dry up for dozens of days. If you pour your soul power into it, your physical body might not be able to withstand such a powerful energy and explode. My thought is, during the time you lost your soul, use monarch flames to burn your body and keep it in a state of cultivation. If that's the case, your body will be filled with a trace of vitality. This second step, the danger will be greatly reduced." When Xiaoyan heard this, a hint of joy could not help but rise in his brows. Before he could speak, Yi Tianchen said again, "However, what I'm worried about is that you are not very familiar with the control of the 3,000 lightning monarch flames. If you use the Chaos Great Monarch Flame, the 3,000 lightning monarch flames might have an unpredictable hindrance to the infusion of your soul in an ownerless state." Xiaoyan frowned. What Yi Tianchen said was true. He was indeed not very familiar with the control of the 3,000 lightning monarch flames. If it wasn't for the suppression of the Xiao in his body, he would probably have to split out a strand of his mind to control it no matter what. Thinking of this, Xiaoyan's expression suddenly became joyful. He suddenly raised his head, and his dark eyes shone with a trace of excitement. "Elder Yi, the Xiao can completely suppress the 3,000 lightning monarch flames. I guarantee that nothing will happen to this kid." Yi Tianchen was startled. Then he smiled and nodded. "That's good. The third step of soul transformation." At the same time, the most important step was to completely fuse the soul origin that was poured into his body with his body. This step is a little complicated, and I don't know much about it. When the time comes, your mind will recover a little. At that time, I'll guide you step by step. Xiaoyan took a deep breath when he heard this. Although Yi Tianchen had spoken casually about this process, it must have been extremely dangerous. Otherwise, how could there be so few alchemists in the lower realm? But no matter how dangerous it was, he had to succeed in this 3-step soul transfer.